Before I start today's video, I just want to say a couple things about what's going on with our crew. Now, I think that word is stupid. It's just a bunch of my friends who have Miatas. We're not a crew. But it's just some bad things have been happening lately. So Neil's situation is just a friggin' shit show. So the shit box is not doing well. We need to get a tap set for fixing his one of his spark plug cylinders is stripped out. Jesus has gotten himself into a pretty nasty accident, so his whole front right side is trash. Side fender and hood and bumper is dead, so bad day for him. Obviously, we know about the Dadmobile that ran into some problems. Yeah, it just bad things have been happening lately, so we're gonna try and take it easy out there and make sure nobody else gets damaged or hurt. I was driving back from somewhere in my 16, and I was driving down a road I must have gone down 100 times, and I just lost concentration or something. I zoned out, and I flew right through a four-way stop sign at about 50 miles an hour. And this is a road where cars usually are, and I don't know why I didn't cause a terrible, horrible wreck and hurt people, but I didn't, so I felt really, really crappy about that. So just be careful out there, you know? Drive smart, even when you're not hooning it. Really getting in it and being stupid, that's when you're paying most attention. And yes, you could damage something, but you're probably not gonna hurt anybody because you're being smart about how you're being stupid. Hey jerks, back at it again today, the Cumstain. I've got a couple things that I need to do. First thing I need to do, replace the spark plugs with NGK7s. They're recommended for turbocharged motors because they fire at a lower temperature or something like that. And anyway, it's just something I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do it in about 15 minutes, which is different from the spark plug job I did on the Dadmobile that took me 5 hours. Because I'm awesome, I bought some anti-seize because I'm gonna do the Cumstain right. I also want to, this is a little dumb, but I also need to put new windshield wipers on it. I took the car out last night, and just the condensation from the windshield and the dirt that was on it, it smeared it and it made it look like a bag of buttholes, so I couldn't really see. That's not a good thing. I need to put this up on jacks and fix the suspension because it's far too high. I had to do that because of the old exhaust that was on there, and since then Eli has fixed my exhaust, and I hope he's fixed it anyway, and he's put it back up into the transmission tunnel side passageway that the exhaust is supposed to be in. Before it was hanging down way too low. So I'm gonna check that and then lower the car a bit, and then I want to also bleed my slave cylinder or my clutch system. When it's cold, when I haven't driven the car for a little while, it takes a while for the clutch to really get going. And I think that is because there's air bubbles in the line. So I'm just gonna bleed that through best I can to try and fix that problem. Let's get started. I did think of one more thing I need to do to this car today, and that is yesterday when I was out. I punched it, you know, got into it good, and then all of a sudden my oil pressure sensor was just flopping all over the place. It was going nuts. Those of you with 1/8 have no idea what this is about because you don't have a working oil pressure sensor. Anyway, the wire has become loose again, and I just disconnected it. So I also have to fix the wire going into my pressure sensor, oil pressure sensor. So that's going to be another thing I need to do. So I've got my hood open, I've got my tool, and I've got my plugs. And I am using the BKR7E from NGK. And apparently that is the most recommended for turbocharged motors in a 1.6 anyway. Got my anti-seize lube. And I have gapped these already to 0.27. And the reason why I chose that is because looking online, I saw that people were quoting 0.25, 0.030. So there's a range that you can, I guess, deal with, but I chose to go with 0.027 because that's kind of in the middle. And if anything wacky happens, then I'll pull them out and I'll do something else. I just want to make sure that everything that I can do to make this engine healthy, I'm doing. And the NGK7s are better than obviously what's ever in here. And I know it's boring to watch videos like this where you're just looking over somebody's shoulder. I don't have somebody who can film me all the time, which would be nice if that were the case. Good. These were not in very tight, which is exactly what you want. Not like that fucking Ford that Robot Monkeys installed. I'm just gonna pull this out. Good. Just gonna inspect it really quickly. See, look how big that gap is. Well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but that is a huge gap, and the connecting post is not that great either. These are BKR 6s, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Put a little bit of anti-seize on. Whoop, that's way too much, Greg. What the hell are you think you're doing? Let me go ahead and wipe most of that off. Good. And then I'm just gonna pop that right in there. Wire off. This is how you do this. You never want to just drop your plugs down into the hole, because sometimes what'll happen is it'll get a little sideways in there and you'll miss, and that's how you end up with a wrongly gapped spark plug, is because it gets a lot smaller than you think it would be. All right, so we'll just give that a little snug, that's all, and then go to the next one. As you can see, I am already a quarter of the way through this job, and it's been what, 90 seconds? It's the difference between having a straight 4, or inline 4, excuse me, that's not straight 4, and a transverse V6. And we're snug. Halfway done. See, isn't this nice? This is nice. You just do the job. There's no problems. There's no bull crap that gets in the way. You don't even get angry. You're just happy to do some work on your car because the job is not difficult. Everything works, and you know what? When I'm done with this, I might have myself a half and half, only because I feel like maybe I deserved it. I mean, if I am editing this, you're not missing much because it is literally super, super easy. Oh, somebody on a comment said that after I got wheels for this, they said that this Cumstain is starting to look better than the 90. And to you I say, wrong, sir. I don't believe I'm ever going to be putting in the time or effort to make this car look good. Thank you, I guess, but no thank you. This car was always intended to be a I don't give any fucks, whereas the 90, I get very nervous when I'm driving that around and parking it in places. So, see, that's what happens when you start talking. You lose your focus and then you just, oh! Okay. So, it's also a good idea not to drop your spark plugs. You'd think that they weren't very fragile piece, but they definitely are. This is a ceramic piece right here that can crack. Obviously, if you drop it, you can really mess up your gapping or close it down altogether. So you want to have some sort of care when you're handling them. Because if you think that you can't do something like this on your car, you're wrong, because it's so easy. 10 more seconds, I'm going to be done. Done. All right, so that was how you change plugs on a Miata. You learn anything? Probably not. This was too easy to learn anything. I'm going to start it up just to make sure it works. I don't like how monster truckin' it is, so I guess that is a job for the impact wrench. I'm going to adjust these coils. And because I got the super cheap ones, Teen sent me 2 exact wrenches, which clearly is not right, but I'm gonna make do here. So you just sort of stick it in there. See what I'm doing here? Doing it all screwed up and wrong. All because I don't have the right wrenches. But hey, look, $400 coilovers, they're good. There we go, okay. So then this just is gonna come down. I'm gonna take it down to, I don't know, right about there. Sure, why not? So, you can hear all the sand in there, road dirt or whatever. Good. Tighten this one here. There, and that's done. So I'm gonna do that times 4, and then this job will be done. Now this is my oil pressure sensor, whatever, and it's right in there. You can see, or you can't see. I can't really tell if you can see or not, but this is the connector it needs to go to. So this just comes off, and then I'm just gonna solder this back together. This is a shit job. It's hard to do because you gotta lean into your car in a weird way. And 1, 2, 3 bananas. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how this is gonna work. Ow! Oh shit, that hurt. I think what I'm gonna end up doing, soldering a new wire extension to that, just because it's it looks like it's a giant pain in the butthole. I'm gonna use a piece of wire about this long, strip off the ends. Remember what I said about how great this thing is? It's great. Crimp one of these guys on it, on the one side, on that, and then extend the wire. I found a connector that is similar. God, I hope you're in focus. Screw you if you're not. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at life. I'm gonna try to jam it on there anyway. Dude, it's totally gonna work. It looks like it should fit. It fits. Just gonna twist this, stick it in here, clamp it down. I'm gonna use this thing to clamp on to this side, and then use the other end to clamp on the other side, and then that should be fine. I mean, it makes sense to me. I am not gonna burn myself with a soldering iron today because I don't need to solder anything. Good day. See that little yellow wire sticking up there? Ding! I need to stick that in here and then clamp it down. Neil's here. Neil's definitely here. Oh, that's Angel. Hello, Angel.
Did you hear me rub?
A little.
What are you doing?
I'm fixing my oil pressure sensor because it came off again. You wouldn't know anything about that?
About what?
About an oil pressure sensor?
Yeah, I do. Mine is consistent.
Consistently on.
Constant pressure.
Consistently on.
I have
Okay.
like a constant pressure, you know?
Uh-huh.
I don't really need to worry about it.
No, I get it. All right, stick that back on there. Let's start the car, see if it works. Ta-da! We all need to drink a Clamato.